My addiction started in my 30s, and I think I got to a point in my life where I just couldn't do it any longer. I was getting older, and I was tired of going to jail. You know, I was tired of fighting. I always reserved the right to drink, and I realized, especially over this last year, that when I drank, I wanted to use my drug of choice, cocaine. And I had a little over a year clean. I was pretty much just abstaining, and although I had a chemical sobriety, I'm not sure that it was a real strong emotional sobriety. About a year and a half ago, I lost my son. And he wasn't a drug user, and it was his senior week. They were getting ready to graduate, and he went out. Some boys were doing some opiate drugs, and he overdosed. And I held on to him and just did whatever it could take to numb that pain. Since I've been here, I have learned to increase my faith. Now I have another son, and I have to be there for him. So I need to be strong again. And I just know that the time was right for me, and I'm going to utilize this new experience, this different approach, and yet it isn't different. It was always in me. This is a birthright. I was born with the ability to think and feel and behave like this. I just didn't realize it. And I really have found that at VxRWorks. It really has begun to work for me. This was a non-traditional approach, and you know, I looked up on the internet, tried to find a longer-term facility, and when I spoke with the staff here, and they told me that this might be a little bit different, but it was refreshing to me that it would be different. It was a struggle just to, you know, I had a lot of depression, anxiety, and I wanted to live. And I came here, and it's helped me a lot. I was very codependent when I first came here, and I have been for a long time within my addiction. And I started to answer questions myself, and you know, I realized that I did have that ability, that I've always had that ability, and it was just starting to come out in me. And they were helping me. They were helping me find the way to search and trust myself and my own creativity and my own common sense and intuition, which I hadn't trusted for a long time. When I first arrived at VxRWorks, you know, I had a lot of tools, and I wasn't using them. I don't ever want to forget those tools either, and that's very important to me. But these are new tools, and their approach and what they have allowed me to see in myself. I'm not relying on other people. I'm relying on myself. I mean, the problem was me, and I always knew that. I feel that my thinking can come from two different emotions, love and fear. And when I came here, I was so full of fear, so many insecurities, this gigantic big ego that drove me. And I realize today that I don't have to operate out of that fearful area, that I can let those insecurities go. What you think of me really is none of my business. I have a better understanding each week that goes by that I am really the master of myself, not a victim. And that really, it gave me more control. And control has always been an issue in my life. I didn't want to be controlled. I would be controlling over other people. And that was all an illusion. And I think that every day I get to make mistakes, and I learn from my mistakes. But when I go home, I think the one thing that'll be different will be me. You know, I don't have to let other people or even other circumstances influence the way I think and ultimately behave. You know, and that's another big thing that I have learned here, is that, you know, I operate my life more from an internal way than an external way. The externals in my life that used to drive me don't anymore, or at least I'm getting better. And I've always known that, and that was another thing. They really the people here at Gulf Breeze Recovery they haven't just hand-fed me things, they've made me work for it. And it means more. That was something my dad always used to teach me. This comes from my heart when I tell somebody you can get better. You don't have to live in this addiction. And for me, when I think of addiction, especially now, it isn't just my chemical addictions to drugs and alcohol, but it's just my addictive behavior, my drug fiend behavior. And when I think of that, I'm relieved. I came in here with an awful lot of guilt and shame, and since I've been at Gulf Breeze Recovery, one of my favorite quotes that I have heard is, guilt is I did a bad thing, shame is I am a bad thing. I don't feel shameful anymore. I am enthusiastic and grateful that I have the opportunity to live my life without drugs and alcohol. I'm looking forward to better relationships, and whether it be with a significant other or whether it be vocationally with my work or anything. When I came here, I was unemployable. And I don't feel unemployable anymore. I feel like I'm really anxious to go back. One neat thing about Gulf Breeze Recovery is that they have a really good detox center here, and they're right on top of things. They have a physician that's here every day to monitor and check things and make sure they're doing okay. And they don't use, they don't use certain techniques that you might find in other places. They try to encourage a more natural approach to detox, and I think that set really well with me. And I am a true believer in that there's neutrality in thought, and that I flavor it. And I have a choice to flavor that as a good thought or as a bad thought. And I also have a choice when I do flavor it with bad, and I got bad thinking going, that I can release that and let it go and step back, clear my mind, and allow my true source, my divine source, my universal mind, feed me, because it's all good. It's God, it's creativity, it's common sense, it's intuition, it is me. It all starts and ends with me forgiving me. Because that's really all that matters. I don't want to say that I'm going to be a selfish person, but I have to be somewhat selfish with my recovery, and then how much more quality am I going to have to give to others as well? When I'm using, I'm lucky to get up the next day. I'm lucky to go to work. Now I'm grateful that maybe I can find a job again that I will like. And that'll be meaningful to me, that my life would be meaningful again, and I'm excited for that. It could be with meditation, it could be with prayer, it could just be a silent moment to get started on the right foot, and it's made a big difference in the way my entire day goes. I see other people differently. I'm not near as judgmental. I don't like people judging me, and so I don't deserve, or they don't deserve, for me to judge them. And that's just one character defect that has improved since I've been here, in this program at Gulf Breeze Recovery. To sum up, where I feel I am today and where I believe that I'm going, what I've gotten up to this point, life is no longer a fight for me. The simplicity of the program was not having to wage war anymore on myself, other people, other circumstances, that if I just let things calm down and quiet my mind, that I would get the answer eventually. And that was the simplicity of this 3P principle program that I'm getting here at Gulf Breeze Recovery.